All right, what is going on? It is Nate, and in this video, I'm going to simplify the way you can create any physical reality that you want, right? So I don't even know, I've spent thousands of hours studying the mind, studying the world, studying all these different things, different books, videos, seminars, literally everything you could imagine, because I genuinely enjoy learning about this stuff. But the thing is I want to break this down as simple as possible so you can start to implement things right now and start to get results, so then you can get the results. And if you're interested in learning how it all works and the real logistics behind everything, then you can study that. But for now, I want to give you what you need to know to then implement it, and then from there you can decide if you want to dive deeper into the why or how things work. But the truth is, you don't have to know how a phone works to use the phone, right? You don't have to understand how you can dial my number from anywhere in the world and my phone rings, right? You don't have to know how that works, but you could still use the phone, and you still do use the phone, right? So that's what my goal is here. Is I understand that you don't need to know how all of this works, and the truth is we don't really understand exactly how all of it works because you can't see it. But what I want to do is provide you with the information you need to apply it, find the results you want to have, and then you can continue to implement this over and over to continue to live whatever life you want to live. So this image is the simplest way I can break this down. And so I'm going to go through first what everything represents, then I'm going to go through how you can start to change your physical reality. And I say physical reality because I truly believe that your thoughts, your imagination, your inside world, who you are inside, is more real than what you see outside. Because what you see inside is what is reflected to the outside world. The outside world is nothing but a mirror, and the truth is, the person in the mirror can't smile until you smile, right? If you look in the mirror, that reflection does not smile until you smile. So until you are who you want to be and you live as that person, the reflection will not change, right? So if you want to be fit, the mirror will not change until you are fit, and you have to be fit inside to be fit on the outside, right? So if you want to be wealthy, you have to be wealthy for the mirror to reflect that, right? So let's get into this. So what is this figure, right? So this is a figure that represents the mind. The mind is not a physical thing, right? Your mind is, there's different names for it. Your mind, your spirit, your heart, technically, right? It's that who you are. It's that part of you that when you die, it stays alive, right? It's not physical. It is a universal mind, a spirit that is connected to our infinite source of supply, right, which is God. So this is a representation of how you need to look at your mind and how you can use this image to create whatever you want to create, right? So first off, we have over here, let me get my laser pointer. There we go. Okay, so here we have those little crosses and stuff. Those are your sensory faculties. So that's your sight, right? So see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. So that's your physical senses, right? So it's what connects you, your spiritual being, to the physical world, right? It is what connects the two. Because remember, or real quick, let me also throw this in there. Oops. Let me get there we go. Okay, SIP. So we're spiritual beings living in physical bodies, and we have an intellect. Oops, there's already an I. There we go. Intellect. Okay, so we are spiritual beings, right? That is our non-physical side. And then we're living in a physical body, and our intellect, our mind, which is, let me go back to the laser, which is this, right? This part of us, right? That is our intellect. So you realize that we are spiritual, we're living in the physical body, and so our sensory faculties are what connect our spiritual being to the physical world, right? It allows us to experience what is around us. So now that you have that down, right, we'll go on to the figure. So then you have your conscious mind. Your conscious mind is your conscious thinking mind, right? So if I tell you right now to, say, I am so happy, right? That is you consciously thinking something. Now your subconscious mind is who you truly are. That is who you are out of habit, right? So your subconscious mind is comprised of your the thoughts, your beliefs, your self-image, your feelings, right? It's who you are. It's the way you feel about money, the way you feel about life, the way you feel about people, the way you see yourself, the way you see your success, the way you see your business. It is who you are, right? So what you need to realize is this is this is what picks up those sensory details, right? So your conscious mind, so like if I said you are amazing, right? Your conscious mind is what picks that up. And then you can either accept it, right? Which most people do. They just accept everything that people say. So if I said you're amazing, you're like, yes, right? So now you're accepting that. So that is pushing it into your subconscious mind, which is who you are, right? That is a compromisation of your beliefs, your habits, your identity, your self-image. Like I said, it's your beliefs. It's who you are, right? That your subconscious mind is who you are. And so the same way, if you say an affirmation and you're like, I'm rich, right? All that is that's in your conscious mind, right? So now that we know you have your conscious mind and then your subconscious mind, that is the true spirit. That is your spirit. That is your heart. That is, your spiritual being is your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is the most powerful thing in the world. The subconscious mind is infinitely connected to all of the intelligence in the entire world. Every single thing, every item, every person, every place, everything, it is infinitely connected to everything, right? So you should see just by that sentence, that is our target. That is what you need to, I don't want to say train, but that is what you need to, really work on. It's not the conscious mind. The conscious mind is like, reading a book, that's in your conscious mind. Going to school, that's in your conscious mind. All these things are just in your conscious mind, and your conscious mind does not cause action, right? So your conscious mind is just like whatever. You read a book or you read an Instagram post and you read it, you're like, oh yeah, okay, right? That's your conscious mind. It doesn't do anything. If you see a post that says it's gonna be cold tomorrow, like you're not gonna do anything. You're just like, okay, right? It's just in your conscious mind. So then your subconscious mind, like I said, is your spirit. That is your beliefs, your habits. Mostly your habits. It's your habits in regard to your actions, your habits and your way of feelings and your way of thinking. It is just your habits. And then your body. Your body is an instrument of the mind. So this is the way things work, is our subconscious mind, whatever we believe in our subconscious mind is what causes our body to move into action, right? So that's why you'll see people who, say they want to start going to the gym. They'll go to the gym for a few days, maybe a few weeks, and then you'll talk to them a couple months later. They're like, yeah, I'm not going anymore. It's just so busy. I don't know, and they come up with all these excuses because it's not a part of who they are. That was just a conscious thought, right? So if you say, I'm going to get rich, that is a conscious thought. You will not get rich if it is just a conscious thought. You have to get these ideas into your subconscious mind because your subconscious mind is what will provide you the path to get there. You have to think of your subconscious mind as God. That is God within you. So you have to realize that if you want the spiritual world, the fourth dimension, to guide you through life, you have to communicate these ideas to that part of you, right? And so that's what I'm going to dive in on how to do. But basically, your subconscious mind determines the way that you feel, the way that you act, your habits, and then that's what causes your body to feel a certain way, which causes you to take certain actions, which get you the results, right? So you'll probably notice you have habits that you don't want to have. You get results you don't want to get. You do things you don't want to do, right? You're like, I don't know why I do this. I don't know why I have this habit. I don't know why I'm binge eating. I don't know why I'm skipping the gym. Right? Because we know what to do. We know what to do, but we're not doing it, right? If you said you wanted to lose weight, you know how to do that, but you're not doing it, right? So we know. Knowing is the conscious mind, and knowing does nothing. Watching this video will not help you, but applying it, making it a part of who you are, is what will make the difference, right? So knowing and doing are miles apart, right? So your subconscious mind, think of it as doing. So you may know how to do something, but you won't do it until it's in the subconscious mind. So that's why they'll read the book, they'll watch the videos, they'll do the seminars, they're like, yeah, I know that. And then they're like, but nothing changed. I didn't get rich. I didn't get the results I wanted. I didn't, this, that, and the other thing. Because they know it, but it's not part of who they are. So I'm going to show you the fastest, easiest, and most effective way to get these new ideas into the subconscious, so that you can literally work towards your goal without even thinking about it. So again, let me make this point as well. 5% of your thoughts are conscious. So 5% of the time you are consciously planting a thought into your mind. 95% of the time you are not thinking. 95% of the time your mind is just on autopilot. So what I'm saying is if you get your desires into your subconscious mind, your desires will be on autopilot. You won't be thinking, oh, how do I get there? Oh, what do I need to do? What action do I need to take? No, you will just naturally be doing these things, and you'll look back and be like, I did that. How did I do that? Like, what? Right? Because you got them into your subconscious mind. So, but what people do is they get it into their conscious mind. I want to get rich. 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 And they're just pushing this. They have this gap. And so what you have to do is you have to close that gap, collapse it, say, that's who I am. Get that into the spiritual side of you so the spiritual part of you can take over. If you do not communicate this idea to the spiritual side of you, the physical side of you will be trying to take the action, and this physical world is a world of effects. Everything is an effect. Everything is an effect, and you are the cause. I am the cause. This is my effect. I am the reason that I'm making this video. This video is an effect of my thinking, right? So you have to realize that everything is an effect that you see here physically, and you are the cause. So if you change who you are inside, you're changing the cause, which will change the effect. So we understand, right, that 95% of the time you're not thinking. So 95% of your actions you're not thinking about, which means 95% of your results you're not thinking about. They just happen, right? It just happens. So maybe you have a good month, maybe you have a bad month. You ultimately resort back to the same way because 95% of the time you're thinking the same way. You're thinking the same thoughts, you're doing the same things, taking the same actions, having the same habits, waking up at the same time, going to bed at the same time, right? Everything's the same, so you keep getting the same thing over and over. And so once you get these ideas into your subconscious mind, then your subconscious mind will be working for you. You won't be working for your mind will be working for you. Your body will naturally be doing these things. You'll find yourself naturally taking these new actions. You'll find yourself naturally running into opportunities, running into abundance, running into job opportunities, whatever it may be. You will find these things happening in your life that you could have never mapped out. You could have never been like, I think this will happen in this. No, you don't know. You don't understand. Our conscious mind is finite. We can only comprehend so much. We can only see, like, I think scientists or whatever say we can see like 0.00035% of the world or something, because all we're seeing is reflections, light. We're seeing light reflecting off of other objects, right? So we're seeing such a finite part of life. We know such a finite amount, and we try to figure out how things are going to work. No. That's not your job. Your job is to tell God what you want. You communicate these ideas to God, and then God gives it to you. Literally, it's that simple. So, but the problem is no one knows how to get the idea to God. So, step one, right? Okay. Step one. I'm going to go ahead and erase the spiritual intellectual. Okay. So step one, right? So if you want to plant an idea in here, the first thing you got to know is, what do you want, right? Because the truth is, how can God give you what you want if you don't know what you want? Right? So people get mad about their life situation. They get mad about what's happening. They get mad about what's coming into life. They get mad about all these things, but they don't know what they want. But they expect God to know what they would want, even though they don't know what they want. And then they get mad that the world's not. It doesn't make sense. Figure out what you want. Step one, right? Because we can't apply this knowledge until you know what you are applying it to. If you don't know what you want, how are you going to apply anything that has anything to do with changing your life? Because you don't know what change you want, right? So what do you want? Money, cars, house, whatever. But be exact. So if you want to, say, make more money, if you're making, $2,000 a month right now, then you need to be exact. Say, I want to make 10K. If you want to make 100K, if you want to make 50K, 20K, 200K, it doesn't matter. But let me just go over this real quick. If you set a goal, it's this balance, right? So you want to set a goal that you've never hit before, because if you've already done it, it's not a goal. If you've already hit it before, it's not a goal. So you want a goal that stretches things out, so you're like, I don't know how to get that. That's what you want. But you don't want to look at it and be like, that's just ridiculous, right? So if you're making 5K a month and you're like, I want to make $1 million a month, right? You're like, are you really gonna 200x your income this month? I mean, okay. So you got to find that balance, right? What number can you look at and say, I can do that? I don't know how, but I know that I can. And what number, and so it's that balance. You don't want it to be, like right now, if you're making 10K a month, 100K a month probably won't be that great. Like, it's doable. It's like if you look at 100K a month, you're like, yeah, I can do that. No hesitation, then yeah, go after it. But if you look at it, you're like, 100K, then 50K, 30K. I could do that. Okay, then do that, right? So you want it to be this balance of what you really want, but more than what you've done before, but not so big to where you just laugh and you're like, there's no chance. Because if you don't think there's a chance, there is no chance, right? So find that balance. So, but you need to be exact, right? If you want a new car, be exact. I want a 2024 Rolls-Royce Cullinan Black Badge Edition, black with orange interior, right? That's what you need. I want to make $100,000 a month from online income. I want a house in San Diego, California that's 3,500 square feet with 4 bedrooms. I don't care, right? It doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is you have to be precise, because God only gives you what you ask for, and if you're not precise, then you're probably not going to get what you want. Because what you want, if you're communicating a broad idea, you don't know what you're going to end up with. But if you give exactly what you want, if you say this is what I want, that's what you'll get. So what do you want? Right? So now step 2, now we have that idea here in your conscious mind, right? So now you can see, okay, right? For this example, we'll just say you want to make 10K a month, right? So you're like, okay, 10K is how much I want to make. So now our job is to get this number into your subconscious mind. You have to get this conscious thought into the spiritual side of you, right? So you have to think of it. This conscious mind, it is a guard to the outside world. So when you say, I'm making 10K this month, your mind's like, no, you're not, right? You probably are like, I want to make 10K. Your mind's like, you don't know how. And you're like, well, shoot, I don't, right? And then you talk yourself back into your box. So you have to realize that your conscious mind doesn't know how, and that's good. You don't want it to know how, because if it knows how, then you've already done it, and it's not a goal, right? No one knows how to do anything until they've done it. Let me keep rolling. So now you know what you want. Now you have to put it into your subconscious mind. So we need to plant this image, right? So let me talk about this. So your subconscious mind does not know what is real versus what is imagined with emotion. So if you experience something in your life that is, think of a really good experience or a really bad experience. It is a part of who you are. And so you can think back to it right now, like say it's a really good vacation. You can think back to that and you can feel that feeling, getting on that plane, knowing you're going on your trip. You can feel that, right? And if it's a really negative or traumatic thing, you can feel it and be like, oh my gosh, that was horrible, right? So you can relive this, because you have to realize creation is finished and everything is here at the same time. So the memories are very much alive. If you think back to that, you will then feel that, and you are reviving that feeling and that memory. So what you want to do is, as Joe Dispenza says, is you want to remember the future. You want to remember the future. So what I'm saying is you need to forget about the past. It's gone. It's an illusion. So is the future and the past. Neither of them exist. And the thing is you can create any future. And if you think of the future as a past, you can then tap back into that memory, and then that brings back the emotion. The emotion gets into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind will then put your body into action. So you plant the image. Plant image into subconscious, right? Like I said, I'm probably, okay, subconscious. Okay, I think I spelled that right. So now you're planting the image into you know what you want. Now you got to plant the image into your subconscious mind. So how do you do that, right? So there's a few ways, right? Or there's 2 ways. There's 2 known ways that you can do this. Through repetition, right? So that would be like affirmations. If you say every day, I am rich, 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 right? At first, your mind's just going to be like, yeah, whatever, shut up, right? But then after a while, you'll be like, okay, yeah, you are rich, right? So you can, go white-faced saying affirmations in the mirror all day long and try to get into your subconscious mind through repetition. But there's an easier way, much easier. So it is images with emotion, right? So like I said, your subconscious mind does not know what is real versus what is imagined and mixed with emotion. So what we're going to do, hear me out, this is sauce. You are going to, shout out to Neville Goddard. This is Neville Goddard's method. None of this is my information. I am regurgitating it in the simplest way possible so that you guys can understand it. I do not take any ownership for any of this. This is all repeated through many, many generations, and I'm just here to help you understand it in the easiest way possible. So, images mixed with emotion. So what you are doing, like I said, you want to remember the future. How do you remember the future? By creating a memory. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a scene that implies that your desire is already fulfilled, right? So let's say you want to make 10K a month. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna create a scene that would imply that you made 10,000 in a month, right? And so the best way, at least through what I've researched, I haven't had a ton of time to experiment with this, but the best way to do it is to have someone congratulate you, say congrats for what you did, right? So someone comes up to you, congratulations on your $10,000 month. That is huge. I'm so proud of you, right? Something like that. And then you shake their hand, you hug them, whatever, and you say thank you, thank you, thank you, right? So they are acknowledging you for what you accomplished, and then you are giving thanks. You are showing gratitude for having accomplished that, right? So you realize what's happening here is you are now creating this memory of someone congratulating you for something that you have not done yet. But what you're going to do is you're going to mix that with emotion, and that emotion is going to cause it to trigger into your subconscious mind, which will then turn this scene into a memory, which then makes it a part of the past, which then makes it a part of who you are, which then means you're going to subconsciously, 95% of the time, act out of habit in that direction. So someone comes up to you, and it should be someone that you're close, someone that would, this has to be natural. So if your dad or your mom or your sister or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your brother or your best friend, whatever it is, whoever it would be that would naturally come up to you and congratulate you and say something, and you could vividly picture that and feel that is real, that is what you need to do. Because if this scene in your head is not natural, your subconscious mind will reject it. It will know that it's not real because you don't feel it to be real. So the trick is you have to feel it to be real so your subconscious mind feels it to be real, right? So you want to make it as realistic as possible. So if it's, say for example, it's your dad, right? So picture you wherever you would normally talk to him. Say you're standing in the kitchen, you're standing outside, you're standing in the front yard, you're standing anywhere, whatever it may be. And they walk up to you and they say, congratulations on your $10,000 month. I'm so proud of you. And they give you a hug. And then you hug them and you say, thank you, thank you, thank you, right? So, and then what you do is you loop it. This is the most important part. So now you do this over and over and over and over and over again. So you get into an extremely relaxed state, right? I know I'm kind of dropping a lot of different things out of order here, but step one, you know what you want, right? So you make a decision on what you want. So then you got to plant it, right? So now you get into first, before you get into a relaxed state, you create a scene, right? And please actually do this. Actually. Don't watch this and say you're going to do it. Do it. Make the scene right now so you can practice it later. So you create the scene. Whatever it may be, whatever's natural to you. If it's your best friend coming up to you and saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe you, dude, that's sick. It doesn't matter what it is. Make it natural. Use your language, your slang, your talk, your feeling. Make it literally, if you have to, have them literally actually do it. And then remember that. I don't know if that works, but it probably does. So you create a scene in your mind of someone, create a scene that implies it is done, right? So someone comes up to you. So the best scene, swap out the people in the goal. You say your goal is 10K a month. The best scene would be someone that you are close with and that means something to you. So say your dad. Your dad comes up to you, says congratulations on your $10,000 month. I'm so proud of you. You give them a hug. You say thank you, thank you, thank you, and you loop that. So now you restart. He walks up to you. I'm so proud of you for hitting 10K a month. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Loop it. Do it again, right? I'm gonna get into that. So 3, so now you create the scene. So now you have to get into a relaxed state, right? Because I don't want to get too scientific here, but your relaxed state puts you into new brain waves, which is theta waves. Theta wave is what you want. Theta and beta. I don't know. Theta is the important one. So theta is what opens the gate. So if you think of it like this, if you are rushing around, right? Say you're late to something, you're rushing. You're very tense, right? And things just aren't going right. You're rushing, things are bad. So you can only create and be creative and be in this godlike frequency, this godlike state where you are at peace and in harmony with God when you are relaxed, right? So if you are in survival mode, if you're in fight or flight mode, you're oh my gosh, right? You're not going to be able to tune into this because your conscious mind will be standing guard. It will be I'm awake, I'm in battle, it's time to go. And your subconscious mind is oh my gosh, protect me. But when you're relaxed, your mind's okay, flow. So you have to be relaxed. I don't care if that takes you 5 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, All right, and there's different sounds you can look up. You could put on HemiSync, binaural beats, just literally relaxation music. It doesn't matter what it is. There's so many different methods, but something that you can lay down or sit down and just completely relax, and not until you like pretty much are asleep, like you are almost asleep. So then you're gonna reenact the scene, right? So you're gonna, once you're relaxed, right? Don't think of it for a while. Just relax, 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 relax. Don't try to think of it right when you sit down. Just sit there for 15 minutes. Let all your thoughts go, left, right, all over the place. And then once your thoughts calm down, you're like almost in a sleepy state. That's when bam, grind time. So now you create this scene. Well, you already have the scene. Now you're creating it in your mind, I guess I should say. And so what you're going to do is they're going to walk up to you, congratulations on XXX, and you say, thank you so much, or thank you, or it is done. Or you can say thank you, or you could be like, this is my new normal, whatever is natural to you. And then you loop that. So like I said, you go through it, they come up to you, congratulations on your $10,000 month. I'm so proud of you. You say, thank you. Bam, restart it. They walk up to you. I'm so proud of you for your $10,000 month. That's awesome. Thank you. Loop it again. It will become so loop worthy, you won't really have to think about it. That's what you want, because hear me out. Okay, and also, major piece here. When they are coming up to you and you're saying thank you, you have to feel it. You have to feel that, like when they say, I'm so proud of you, like feel like they're actually telling you that, and be like, thank you. Like feel gratitude. Because like I said, it is images mixed with feeling. So if you are doing this and you're like, this is stupid, yeah, you're right. It's not going to work, right? But, and so it ultimately comes down to emotional conviction. But I'm telling you right now, this works because you are planting this image into your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is on autopilot and will give you whatever it is that you want, but it will not give you what you want if it does not know what you want, and it knows what you want by planting it in there with an image mixed with emotion. But guess what? Not only are we creating an image mixed with emotion, we are doing it repetitiously. That's why we're looping it. So not only are you doing the image with emotion, you are doing it over and over. So you are literally basically cornering your subconscious mind, like, here, you got no choice. This is real. It works. So you do that. Now what you've done is you have taken a conscious thought, a conscious scene, and you have planted it into your subconscious mind. So now there's, throughout the day, you're going to have to start to live as this person. I'm not saying necessarily do this and then throughout the day you just completely disregard it, right? So you want to embody this new state. So if you want to make 10K a month, you have to start to see the world as someone who makes 10K a month. You have to realize that you experiencing that in your imagination is more real than experiencing it in the physical world, because the physical world is just an effect. It's a delay. It's a reflection. So this is not real. This is what's real. You created that scene in your mind. They congratulated you for it. You already have it. It is already yours. It is already done. So stop looking for the outside world to change. You already have it inside. And if you are not okay with or without it, you will not get it. You have to be okay with it or without it. That is when you can get it, because that is when you truly don't care. And when you don't care is when it will come. If you are chasing something, think of it like chasing a dog. If you're chasing the dog, it's going to run. But when you stop chasing the dog, it's going to come to you. Same thing, right? So you want to do all of this, but you want to live in that state throughout the day, right? So throughout the day, you're going to have to think about it. How would I think if I made $10,000 a month? How would I act? What actions would I be taking? What would I be feeling? If I went to the store right now and spent $100, how would I feel about that if I made 10K a month? How would I feel about the gas prices? How would I, right? So you shift your perception, because now what you're doing is not only have you created this memory, now you are seeing the world in that lens, and now you are emitting this frequency to the world like, hey, this is who I am. Right? And so I don't want to get into any more depth, but this is really what it is. You don't really have to do any exterior stuff. What you have to realize is once you do this, it is done. It is real. It is happening. It is yours. Because everything in this world is yours. Why do you think in the Bible the devil was trying to tempt Jesus with, I'll give you everything you can see? He didn't want it because he already knows it's his. Everything in this world is already ours. Everything is energy. We are energy. Everything, we can attract anything we want. So ownership of other things, think about it. When you own a house and you die, guess what? Someone else owns it. You don't own anything. Everything is just passed from owner to owner to owner to owner, and you can get anything you want. You can have anything you want. Everything that you want is already yours. You have to become one with it because you are one with it, but what you have to realize is you have to take ownership of it. You have to realize I am one with everything. Everything is one with me. What do I want? It is already mine. It is done. You have to close this time and space gap. So many people, that's the problem, is they see this, oh, I want this, right? I got this Rolls Royce right here. So a lot of people look at this like, oh my gosh, I want that car. Like, that's so sick. And what you're doing is you're creating a gap. You have to live in the car. You have to see from behind the steering wheel, not look at the car. You have to look in the car. Now you have the car, right? So you have to shift your perception to be, you don't look at the 10K a month, you say, I make 10K a month, right? You step into that. You don't look at it, you step into it. You become it, you embody it. So if you want a book about this, it's holding up my computer right now, so I can't show you, but actually, The Power of Awareness, Neville Goddard. It also includes Awakened Imagination. So there's 2 books in here. If you get the one with the red stripe on the bottom, and it's on Amazon. It's not very expensive. It's not very long either. Very good book. Talks about all this and how your consciousness, your thinking is what is reality, right? So just real quick, you need to realize that your mind, what is inside of you, right? Your consciousness, your subconscious and your conscious mind, your consciousness is what is projecting into this physical world. So the physical world is just frozen consciousness. The physical world is frozen consciousness, and you are the one that creates the frozen consciousness. You have to project it for it to freeze it. So when you realize you can project anything you want, it can freeze anything you want, which means that you can create any reality, and it can slow that down and you can experience it. So make a decision on what you want. Create a scene that implies that it is already done, and then you relax, right? Put on whatever, hemi-sync, binaural beats, meditation music, birds flocking, white noise. I don't care, just relax. You don't need anything, but it usually helps to block out sound. And then, you get totally relaxed, and then you flash the scene on your mind, and you loop it over and over and over, and you show gratitude. You mix your emotion with it. You're like, oh my gosh, I did it. And you say, thank you. You mix emotion with it like it's real. Think like they're actually telling you this, and then you realize that once that is done, it is done. It is already yours. It's coming. Trust. So that's all for this video. That is probably the simplest I can make this, but genuinely, if you start doing this, if you create these scenes and you start doing these things, and start with something small that you know could like definitely happen, and then when you do this, you'll be like, okay, yeah, this works, and you create momentum and confidence. Confidence is the biggest key to success, because, and like quote unquote manifestation, because when you believe that something will happen, it will happen. When you don't believe it, it won't happen. You have to have the confidence. And confidence can be built by doing the little things and then being like, oh yeah, this works. Okay, this does work. Oh, this does work. And there's a lot of ways you could practice that. Like, if you like cars, start looking at like researching a specific car. Research it. Look it up every single day. I guarantee you'll start seeing them around you. I guarantee it. It doesn't matter how rare it is. I guarantee you, you'll find one somewhere. I really like McLarens. I've been really looking at them the last few weeks. I've been seeing a ton of them. I would never see them before. Now I always see them, right? Because you're changing your level of awareness. So that's all for this video. Longer than I wanted it to be, but it was sauce. So rewatch it, apply it. Remember, knowing does nothing, doing is what does it. So do this. Create the scene when you get into a relaxed state and you do this. You can also do it when you go to sleep. When you're going to sleep, get in bed, get relaxed, lay down, chill out, and then flip the scene onto your mind, loop it, and fall asleep with that loop. And then you'll think about it all night long. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next one.